And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking King of Monza, King of Italy, Charles Leclerc pulling off a very unexpected, but let's be fair, if you're at Monza, you're an Italian, you are a Ferrari fan, you are welcome to all the elation, absolutely. Well done, Charles Leclerc. Did McLaren blow it? What on earth happened to Red Bull? Did Oscar Piastri ruin Lando Norris's race? All this and a bit more. P.S. Kevin Magnussen, we're not going to see him at the next race. So, welcome. Yes, as you can see here is a very happy Charles Leclerc doing the face cam, screenshot, headshot, whatever you want to call it these days, selfie at Monza with the crowd. But let's have a look at who finished behind him, essentially. He won by 2.6 seconds, just on that magnificent one stopper. Now, I'm yet to decide who is more to be in reverence, let's say, on who decided that one stopper. Was it Charles Leclerc or was it more Ferrari? It's going to be more of the other. They did say to Leclerc, do whatever McLaren, I think they suggested to him, didn't they, during the race, do the opposite of what McLaren are doing. Piastri ended up pitting, and then he finished 2.6 seconds. Another 2 laps, it could have been different, but you didn't need it, there weren't another 2 laps. And Piastri finished very much in second. Norris, 6 seconds down in third. Then a fairly big gap, 15.6 seconds down was Carlos Sainz. Hamilton, after a disappointing qualifying, was a disappointing race for both Mercedes drivers. Just shy of 23 seconds down, 37 seconds for Verstappen. I mean, a Red Bull, it was, 22 seconds, wasn't it, in Zandvoort? 37 seconds in Monza. That's not good at all, is it? Absolutely, it's not. Verstappen, obviously, in 6th. George Russell, 39 seconds down, albeit George Russell had a bit of a mare at the first corner. Perez in 8th. I don't think you can really blame Perez in 8th. Bear in mind that he's the last of the top teams. But he ended up, finishing not that great. We'll get into driver by driver. 9th for Albon, 10th for Magnussen, 11th for Alonso. Colapinto in 12th. I think fair play. Fair play for that. Ricciardo 13th, getting a penalty and kind of like ruining his own race. RB had a torrid time, didn't they? Then we had a lap down, 14th, 15th, Ocon, Gasly, Bottas in 16th, Hulkenberg, Zhou and Stroll, 17th, 18th and 19th, and Tsunoda did not finish. Alonso just outside the points, but Leclerc getting the 25, not the full, because I think it was Lando Norris getting 16 and the lap for the fastest points. But here we go. Kevin Magnussen has been banned for exceeding the point penalty limit. Why is that? Because he's a naughty boy. He's been a naughty boy all year, hasn't he? Has driver Kevin Magnussen, this is from the BBC, he's been suspended from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix after exceeding the permitted number of penalty points. He was given a 10-second penalty and 2 penalty points for a collision with Alpine's Pierre Gasly during the Italian Grand Prix. Not the worst thing I've seen Kevin Magnussen do, but you can make an argument his thing in Monza may have been even worse and even sillier, but they didn't give him one. So fair play to the stewards for giving him one here. That took him to a total, as we know, of those deadly 12 points in a calendar year, which dictate he has a race ban. Haas has not said who will replace Magnussen in Baku on the 13th or 15th of September with Ollie Behrman, who they have signed, could be at Baku. But so could Pietro Fittipaldi, who is also their reserve driver. Magnussen questioned the decision, obviously, to penalise him for the incident which happened when he crashed into the side of Gasly. He said, me and Gasly had slight contact. No damage to either car, no consequence in the race. We just had slight contact. We're racing, Magnussen said before his ban was confirmed. He added, I've spoken to the stewards many times and I still don't understand what the rules are. Well, don't hit the other driver. I mean, that's a fairly, He's not in F1 next year, is he? They don't want racing. He said that's what it seems to. Oh, yeah. If this thing between me and Gasly can't be deemed a racing incident, then I don't know what can. It doesn't make sense. Magnussen drew a power with another incident in the race between his mate team, Hulkenberg and Ricciardo, to suggest the stewards were not being consistent. Yeah, that is true. They are not consistent, Mr. Magnussen. He said, I don't know why they need to keep throwing around penalties like this, he said. And on top of that, I saw Nico almost get thrown into the wall by Ricciardo. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but still, he got 5 seconds and I got 10. It doesn't add up at all. Yeah, I don't think too many people are going to be crying about, other than Haas fans, maybe Magnussen fans, maybe about him missing out in Baku. It's going to be interesting. It gives us another debut, maybe, or re-debut of Ollie Behrman or something. But let's talk about Red Bull. Max Verstappen, clearly not particularly happy with his Red Bull team, understandably. He said, unfortunately, I don't have a degree in engineering or aerodynamics, but I think in terms of feedback, I've said all I can do. It's clear to everyone now that we have what we have to do. We have to turn the car upside down. He said, it's true that I've said a lot, and it is now up to the team to come up with a lot of changes. That's what he said, I think, to the Telegraph, which is I think a Dutch newspaper. But yeah, Max Verstappen not particularly happy. And Red Bull, I mean, when you look at where they finished, what on earth? I mean, Leclerc, and then you got to go all the way down to here. Max Verstappen, oh my gosh, it's just not good at all. 37.9 seconds. I mean, is that worse than Singapore 2023? That's surely the... and bear in mind, I mean, this is the race where there's no issue. He didn't have a penalty or anything like that. He just finished 37.9. Maybe he had no, he wouldn't have had another pit stop, no. Maybe he had another pit stop. I don't know. I'll have to check that. Maybe I wasn't really watching the race, but no. It's just, I mean, the fact he finished in 6th. No, not good. Russell finishing 7th, catching Max Verstappen towards the end. It's almost, but no, he didn't have another pit stop. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, moving on. Let's go. Let's have a look at driver by driver, shall we? So driver by driver. Let's start at the back. Who finished last? And, well, yeah, and essentially, how did that go for everyone? Well, in last place was this man, Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, dear. Yeah, one of his worst weekends of the year. Not very good at all. Needs improving. Next up, we have the man that finished last on the track. I don't think it'll be a massive surprise to you all, but this man here, Lance of the Stroll. Yeah, he's not one lap down. To be fair, though, it was a really poor race for Aston Martin. I mean, what kind of like we're talking about what happened to Red Bull. Since the middle of 2023, what on earth has happened to Aston Martin? They have, I mean, they've just gone down and down. I don't get it. And I like this. I like Aston Martin. I want them to do better. I'm not a fan of Lance Stroll. If they put another decent driver in there, I would love this team even more. I'm sorry, Stroll. I'm really, really sorry. So next up, we've got Mr. Captain Average, Zhao Guanyu once again. Not particularly great. Oh dear. And then we have Hulkenberg, who didn't have a good race. An awesome qualifying, but I don't think we can have a go at him too much because of the issues. I think him and Daniel Ricciardo having a whoops-a-daisy together. So yeah, not particularly great. And then we've got Valtteri Bottas. I said probably no points, but once again, I think this guy's underrated. This is not a very good car, as we all know. And I think he puts it about as good as it really, really can do. In terms of like not an all-time great, but a really good and solid driver. To the point where I think if he was at Red Bull, he would be doing, I think, better than Perez. So next up, then we have in 15th. It was Alpine's favourite Frenchman at the very least. It was Mr. Pierre Gasly. Yeah, shame they didn't get any points. I mean, it was Pierre Gasly finishing 15th, and it was Esteban Ocon finishing 14th, which is not particularly great for either of them. Kind of like a bit sad, but I think they came to this weekend thinking points, I imagine, were probably going to be a bonus for them. But this guy here, Daniel Ricciardo, I think he's got to be disappointed, given that 5-second whoops-a-daisy penalty he got, which was not great. I think he genuinely had a chance of points, but he didn't. A race to forget for RB, but he beat Tsunoda, which is important. But there's a suggestion that he had a different package on. Colapinto finished 12th. Sadly, I don't have a shiny picture of him. I've just got Logan Sargent. But let's talk about, from Colapinto, let's talk about Fernando Alonso, shall we? Just outside the points. He's going to be a bit frustrated at that. I think he's going to want, I mean, he finished, yeah, it was just a couple of tenths shy of Magnussen, who ended up getting the last point. So, yeah, he's definitely, I would be frustrated. I'm sure he would be as well with that. And next up, we have got. I just need to find him. Goodness, I mean, I've no idea where he is. He's gone. It is Mr. Magnussen, who has seemingly disappeared off my list. No, here he is. Kenin Magnussen, because I'm not even going to bother changing it now. Yeah, Kenin Magnussen. 10th, to be fair, yes, he was a naughty boy, but to finish 10th in a Haas, he kind of helped Haas where Hulkenberg went a bit wrong. Once again, not necessarily Hulkenberg's fault, but Kevin Magnussen, I think a solid result for him. I don't think he can be too disappointed. But this guy here, I was praying he would score points, and that he did. He did not disappoint. Did you, Alexander Albon, in 9th? 2 points for Williams. Thank you very much. A stunning drive. I think, along with Charles Leclerc, the driver of the day. Special note to Colapinto, finishing 12th, already better than Logan Sargent. Let's be fair. Not being horrible to Logan Sargent, I don't really want to be, but yeah, already better than Logan Sargent. Then we've got Sergio Perez. Now, this is interesting. Finishing 8th would normally be really disappointing for Red Bull, but bear in mind the arguably much better driver, the number 1 in Red Bull, finishing 6th, and Perez were finished, within 20 seconds of Max. What more could he have done today? I don't think you could have asked any more of him. The car, there was obviously something extremely wrong with the car. George Russell, I don't think it was completely his fault. He had nowhere to go, and that kind of ruined his race, and it was really like a comeback from there. Where would he have finished? And that's the thing. Even I think Hamilton has come out and said he doesn't think that Mercedes had the pace of the Ferraris or the McLarens today. But yeah, Max Verstappen, he's going to be really. We've already quoted him. He's really, really disappointed. He's even come out and said both championships are in doubt. I think in the cold light of day, they're probably not, because McLaren doesn't want Lando Norris to win the championship. We'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, Max Verstappen, most certainly the Constructors' Championship could be now in potential doubt, but I don't think the drivers. I think the drivers at the moment is fairly safe-ish. Yeah. But Max Verstappen, him and Red Bull seem to have a lot of work to do over the next 2 weeks before we get to Baku. As I believe does Lewis Hamilton. I think a bit of soul searching after a disappointing qualifying session. He beat himself up. He was doing a Lando Norris, wasn't he? He comes in and he's disappointed again. Absolutely they are. To finish 5th, not particularly great. After winning Spa, winning Austria, and also winning Silverstone, it's been a bit disappointing, really, hasn't it? After his win in Spa, which was a 1-2, really. But yeah. I think they potentially will go better in Baku. I guess we'll have to see, really. Now, from there to Carlos Sainz. So, did today prove why you want Charles Leclerc rather than Carlos Sainz, potentially, but both went for one stopper? I kind of feel at that point, when Ferrari decided that both cars were going to do a one stopper, maybe we could get a 1-2. I think they left Carlos Sainz out in the hope that he's going to hold up Piastri just that little bit to help Charles Leclerc at that point. I mean, he clearly didn't have the pace of Charles Leclerc, so there you go. But I think a really solid result for Carlos Sainz, and I don't think he could be disappointed just off the podium, but on the podium. To be fair, second and third looked quite disappointed and deflated, didn't they? This man got pole. Piastri, a really, really forceful move from him on that first lap. We'll probably analyse it maybe sometime during the week. Is it a move you want to do with your teammate? I don't know. The one thing I do think, though, is I feel at the end, with Oscar Piastri clearly not going to get Charles Leclerc, they should have swapped them round. They get the same points for the constructors. I get it, you don't want to take a win. I know Alana doesn't want to. But if McLaren lose the Drivers' Championship by less than 10 points, everyone's going to be pointing and laughing at them, aren't they, at this point? Now, after the Hungary debacle, whether you agreed with whatever, and this one here, well, I think they should have swapped them round at the end. They could be the laughing stock of the season, even if they win their constructors and Lando's within 10 points of Max Verstappen. That's going to be very embarrassing, isn't it? Championship, I think, is still very much on, but I think McLaren have to do a lot of soul searching and looking themselves, and a bit of chat. I mean, one wrong move from either Lando or Piastri, they're both out of that race at Monza. It was a bold move from Piastri. Bold move against your teammate who's potentially fighting for a championship. I don't know, but we just saw how hungry Piastri is, and to be fair, Piastri did have the slight advantage on pace on Lando here. So thoroughly deserve second place in some ways as well. You can make the argument both ways for these drives, but it's certainly going to get interesting from now. But I can't help but feel that McLaren need to have a little chat with their Australian if they want to go for that championship. I think they definitely do. But the king of Monza reigns supreme, Charles Leclerc. Absolutely well done. I mean, it is. I thought, no, surely not. And they tried the one stop, and I initially thought that McLaren are going to catch him. But as the laps were going, as the laps were going down, it was looking less and less likely. And I mean, yeah, I was so happy for Charles Leclerc. Absolutely, absolutely brilliant. And the tyre whisper, I mean, that's very much what George Russell did in Spa, Belgium, and very much a Lewis Hamilton-esque win, isn't it? So, yeah, 10 out of 10 for Charles Leclerc, as he says here.
Ragazzi, ce l'abbiamo fatta. What a special feeling. Once again, 2019 was special.
It was
Monaco
special.
This year was special. And this year, Monza
I think
is
this
very
year was
special
even
as
more
well.
surprised
I'm so
the fact they won.
incredibly happy. It was
Such
a difficult race. I didn't know it would be possible. But in front of all of the tifosi.
Yeah. Oh, we've now gone. But yeah, basically, clearly a extremely happy Charles Leclerc as we don the Ferrari flag for, I think, the penultimate time, because tomorrow we'll be doing the fallout of the race. All the news coming out of the Italian Grand Prix. But we salute you, King Charles of Monza. I think that was a better race win than Monaco, if I'm honest. I mean, Monaco, it is hard, but they go so slow nowadays, don't they? It's like a dawdle compared to, but he's won the slowest and the fastest race of the year, which is interesting. If you liked what you see, please give us a subscribe so you do not miss a video. And if you don't want to miss a video, hit that notification button. We'll speak to you soon. I hope you stay safe. And we salute you, King Charles. And once again, I always pressed the wrong button. There we go. There it is.